Today I'd like to cook a tilapia courtbouillon for you. Previously, I sautéed 1 onion, 1 whole bell pepper, and 3 stalks of celery. I've been browning them very nicely, more so than just a light sauté. Next, I'm going to add 2 cloves of garlic that I've sliced. I don't want to cook the garlic too very long, just enough for it to release its nice flavor. After this, I'm going to add 1 can of diced tomatoes and green chilies. Also a can of diced tomatoes that have been drained. We'll use the juice later, but for now, I want to get a nice browning caramelization with these tomatoes. This will need to cook about 15 minutes. You want to let this sauté until you start seeing that separation of tomato from oil. Oh yes, I have a lot of nice browning on the bottom of the pot. Again, just layer upon layer of nice flavors. Now to this, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of roux. And roux can be made by adding oil and flour and toasting it. Some people even dry toast their flour to make the roux, and that's acceptable as well. That roux helps to bind everything together. Also to this, I'm going to add tomato paste. Let me give this a good stir. It becomes very pasty. And then I'm going to add liquids to it to bind it together and make a nice sauce. Okay, so I kept that reserved tomato juice that came out of the can of diced tomatoes. We don't want to waste that. Let's add it. And next, about 2 cups of water. So I've created this base of this gravy that I'm then going to let boil for about 10 minutes or so. And then I'll add the tilapia fish. But before that, let's add some seasoning. We want to add some salt, just regular granulated salt, granulated garlic powder, and red cayenne pepper to taste, whatever you like. Okay. Now this will need to come to a boil and sort of cook down for about 10 minutes. Okay, our sauce has been cooking about 10 minutes now. I let it come to a boil and then cooked it about 10 more minutes. Now we're ready for our fish. One thing that I did, because they are so large, is I cut slits so that we can make sure that the gravy gets down in there and that the fish cooks properly. So just drop them in. In the first one, I put the head in this direction, and for this one, I'll put the head this direction. That way, they'll both fit in the pot. I haven't seasoned the fish, only the gravy, so let's give the fish a little bit of seasoning. Granulated garlic, salt, and red pepper. Again, granulated garlic on the other fish, salt, and red pepper. Okay, at this point you want to see what your gravy looks like. Mine looks a little dry. I want those fish to really be nice and submerged. So I'm going to add a little bit more water. I would say I'm adding about another cup. Next, I have some chopped green onions. We'll sprinkle that on top. And some parsley. That looks about right. And to perk up all of these flavors, about 2 tablespoons or half a lemon you want to squeeze into your gravy. Now I'm not going to be turning these fish, so if you need to do any kind of stirring, it's good to lift the pot and just kind of shake it around so that the gravy gets everywhere around those fish. Now let's cover it and let it do its thing. Now the fish has had a chance to kind of take a bath in this lovely sauce. And every so many minutes, like say 5 or 10 minutes, I would lift the pot and kind of shake it around. And I would also bathe the fish with some of that nice gravy. So here we have our finished product. You can see here now that the tilapia is done. Remember I told you I made those slits across the top to make sure that that gravy would get down in it. You can also tell when the fish is done, it will begin to separate itself from the bone. Then you can turn off the pot, and as you see, I've lifted one of them out of the gravy. So let's go ahead and plate it and give it a try. Here's some of my gravy. Now you can even thin out this gravy if you like and eat it more like a soup, or just put a lot more gravy and less rice. And a piece of fish. There we go. Let's give it a try. You can see I've added the lemon too. A bite of fish, a little bit of rice. You know, here in Cajun country, we eat lots of rice. Just delicious. I hope you'll give this recipe a try. If you'd like to know more information about the recipe, please visit us at LafayetteTravel.com.